Welcome to MissouriNet.com. I'm Bill Pollack, and I'm joined by Jason West of MSHSAA. We wrap up the basketball season, another 3 busy days, and some great basketball games that wrap up with the classes 4 and 5 boys and girls championship games from Saturday night. Jason, lively crowds, great basketball games, and not just the championships, but all the way through from the semifinals and the third-place games. Great effort. Great games. Everyone that was there certainly deserved to be there because we saw some very good basketball for 3 days.
There really were. There were some exciting games, some terrific moments. The crowds and the energy level at Mizzou Arena, especially both Saturdays for the championship games in all classes, were great, and I think that really spilled out onto the floor, and the players feeding off that energy made for some great basketball.
One of the better games, and I heard from media members, guys that look like they've been covering high school basketball for a long time, much longer than I had, said that the Vashon-Sikeston game, the 69-66 overtime game in the Class 4 semifinals, one of the best basketball games that they've seen in a long time. Sikeston was down double digits twice in that game, and they got it down to single digits, got it down to one possession. They finally tied it up, sending the game into overtime. That was a great basketball game.
That was, hit a great 6 seconds left in regulation, and held on by a couple of attempts there at the end. And I believe they even had the ball back and had a chance to win it in regulation as well. So a back and forth game, and had runs and comebacks, like you said. So and again, a great crowd for that on both Sikeston and Vashon. Brought a good number of fans to watch that game, and again, the energy level in the gym was tremendous.
All right, well, just to update on the third place games in Class 5, on the girls' side, Liberty beat Francis Howell, and then on the boys' side, St. Louis University High beat Lee Summit, and then in Class 4 on the girls' side, Owensville beats Incarnate Word Academy, and Helias Catholic beats Sikeston for third place on the boys' side. So we get into championship Saturday. The first one right out of the gates, Class 5 girls, and a big game for Kickapoo. They beat Kirkwood, a very physical team, 63-53. And in the process, Kickapoo sets a record by getting to the free throw line.
Right. Number of free throw attempts, I believe it was 57. 53 attempts, set a record, not only just for a championship game, but for the championship series as well. And then they made 37 of those attempts, which is the second most ever for a championship game.
They were banging. That was a very physical game, and you got to give credit to Kickapoo when you come back playing a second game, getting knocked around at the free throw line. 37 of your points from the free throw line, a great win for the Kickapoo girls. And then the boys had a chance to sweep the whole thing for Class 5, but there's a kid from Chaminade by the name of Jason Tatum who had other thoughts. 40 points for him, and the Red Devils pull out the Class 5 championship. This kid is special to watch.
Jason just kind of took the game over about midway through the first half, and definitely put the team on his back. I think he was kind of fighting a little bit of the flu bug or something like that as well. But to put the performance on that he did through all of that, and with the state title I believe he finished up with 40 points for the game.
Yeah, he did. And so he goes from a Red Devil to a Blue Devil now, as he will take over at Duke, and I know he'll have a great college career. Just a smart player. All right, now we go on to the Class 4 Girls Championship, and, Jason, it's special to get to the Final Four. It's special to win the state championship, but then to do it undefeated, it doesn't happen very often, and it puts you in with some very rare company, and that's what Benton did on Saturday night.
That's very true, and that was one of the keys coming into finals for the Cardinals. Everyone talked about how great of a defensive team they are, and they play great defense and hard-nosed defense and this and that. And, holding Owensville to 27 points in the semifinal, okay, well, yeah, there may be something to that, but then to hold MICDS to only 30 points in regulation and 34 points overall in a double overtime game, there's certainly something to that adage of defense wins championships.
Yeah, no doubt. They held Owensville to 25, and I was looking as that game was going on, that game against Owensville, and they talked about how that was their best defensive game of the season. But 31 wins, they go 31-0. Of those 31 wins, 15 of them, they held their opponent to 25 points or less. That's incredible. I mean, you're cooking along at 50%, holding teams to 25 points or less. There were quite a few games where they had teams that were in the teens, and that's unheard of.
Yeah, that means you've got something special going on there.
Yeah, no doubt. And then a long time team that makes the Final Fours, Vashon on the boys' side, first time since 2006 they're in the Final Four. They win another game in which they score 69 points. They take down Lafayette St. Joe 69-58. They score 69 points in both games, and they shot 63% in the championship game, and it's tough to beat a team when they're that hot.
Right, when you're up in the 60% area for the game, there's not too many cold spells, and they really didn't have too many. Lafayette came out early and kind of jumped out early and had some shots falling, and people were thinking Vashon may have spent a little too much energy the day before in that semifinal against Sykeston, and they were leaving some shots short. But once they caught fire, it was lights out from there, and they were able to pretty much do what they wanted to the rest of the game. Had a special moment with Coach Irons. His dad, Floyd Irons, had won a state title or two in his day, and I was able to share a special moment with Tony afterward. And so that was kind of nice to see when have a father-son moment like that.
Yeah, and that's a great point you bring up, too, about having enough gas in the tank, because that looked like what happened to Sykeston. Elias came out and played in that third-place game. They played real well, but it looked like Sykeston just didn't have the same type of energy, and it looked like they spent everything that they had to battle back from those big deficits against Vashon, and it looked like they ran out of gas. And I don't want to say that Lafayette St. Joe had an easy game against Elias in the semifinal the night before, but Elias got themselves into foul trouble. They weren't shooting shots, and so, yeah, you look at that championship game and you think, boy, Lafayette's going to come in here and they've got the advantage, and they jumped on them early. But Vashon finishes strong, and a great finish to the entire championship, not only this weekend, but the past 2 weekends. Really some great games. Yeah,
and everything went great. Had some nice crowds, and hopefully the players and coaches and administrators that were involved were able to enjoy their time at the Final Four.
All right, so Jason, you guys get a chance to catch your breath momentarily. Start of the spring season got underway on Friday, so we kick into the final trimester, if you will, of sports. But then we have some business things to take care of for basketball. Maybe you can talk about the RFP process.
To this afternoon, actually, to our board, proposals that our office received to host the basketball venue. We have one more year left on the current contract with Mizzou, and so this would be for possibly up to 5 years after next year. And so we're looking forward to seeing the proposals that we received this afternoon.
And how long has it been in Columbia?
For quite a while. It's been kind of back and forth. There were some times where it was in Springfield, I believe in the early 90s. But since then, it's basically been either at the Hearn Center or Mizzou Arena.
All right, that sounds good. All right, a great weekend, Jason. You guys did a great job, as always. A lot of fun and a lot of exciting games. And you and the staff there at MSHSAA did an outstanding job. So hats off to you guys.
Well, thank you very much. We want to make sure that we can have a memorable experience for everyone involved. And even if they come and lose 2 games, still want to be able to have a memory on their indoor career.
Yeah, and just to get to play at Mizzou Arena, it's a great experience and a great venue. So, all right, Jason, we'll catch up next week. Try to get some rest and save up after 2 hard weeks for you guys.
We will certainly try our best.
All right. Jason West from MSHSAA joining us. And, of course, for more high school coverage, you can follow our stuff at MissouriNet.com, and you can follow me on Twitter at Missouri Sports. We'll talk to Jason again next week, and you have yourself a great week, and we'll talk to you again soon.